Did I see we're talking about 10 movies this week?
It's too many.
It's too many. We can't do it. It can't be done. But we're going to try. Welcome. This is the Screening Room Podcast.
Are either one of these any good?
Wow, this is a good movie.
It's pretty good.
Well, the director from yesterday doesn't think so.
It stinks.
He's sorry. You waste our film.
It's so bad!
And welcome to it. She is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we're from MaddWolf.com. Yeah, 10 big films in theaters and for home streaming this week. And we start off with one. We've been looking forward to this one for a while.
First up in theaters, when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. Weapons.
It's the latest horror movie to get a lot of hype.
Yeah.
People are wondering, is it worth it? We think it is.
Yeah, we do.
We think
like
it really is.
Yeah.
It's one of those that takes you places you don't expect. Both of us were wondering because we saw it separately.
Yep.
And we were both reporting back that I don't know where this is going. Where's this going? I had a couple guesses. They were wrong. But that's a good thing.
It is, especially when you see as many movies as we do. If I'm watching a movie and I don't know where it's going, but in the end it was a logical flow of information. An extra star just for that.
Yeah, this is the latest from Zach Kreger. You might remember he did Barbarian, which was a blast of fun.
Yeah.
And that went in some unexpected places too.
Yeah,
from a few years ago. Yeah. That one definitely did.
But that had much more of a B-movie vibe.
It did.
You know, it was much bigger and broader kind of a film. And this one is a lot more, although he uses a lot of the same, you've got the same sort of chapter structure. There's a mystery unfolding. And it's very intricate. So he's kind of layering all of the pieces there for you. So, I mean, it's got some things in common, but if you're not really looking for them, you're not going to go, oh, this was the guy who made Barbarian.
No, except, well, Justin Long pops up.
That's right.
For a little bit.
That's right.
This is the story of, you probably know if you've seen the trailers, a third grade teacher, Julia Garner, has all but one of her children in her class only, just disappear. And they find, after looking at cameras and things, that 2:17 a.m. All the kids got up from their pajamas and they just went outside and they ran with their arms out. It's kind of a weird, like they're look like an airplane or something.
Yeah.
Running away, and they're still missing, except for this one child. So, of course, a lot of the community, the parents, are lashing out. They're frustrated. They're scared. They don't know who to blame. They want to blame someone. That's human nature, and a lot of the blame is falling on Julia Garner's character. And so we get a chapter for her, but you're right, we get other chapters. One of the dads is played by Josh Brolin, who's great. Mm-hmm. There's a local cop who's played by Alden Ehrenreich. Local cop. He gets a chapter. Then you've got the principal of the school, played by Benedict Wong.
Oh, he's so good in this movie.
He gets a chapter as well. And it's a little Rashomon, sure. But then you're given different bits of information for each chapter that fills in the mystery. And for much of the early going, it is a mystery only before it gets to the horror.
Yeah. It is, they also take a lot of time to build characters, and having these chapters be one individual specific helps them do that. And what I really liked about this, especially Julia Garner's character, the teacher, is that none of them are super great people.
No,
they're
very
flawed and human. And from the time you're introduced to Josh Brolin's character, that you're not going to like him, right? Because he's the guy who's just full of rage and pointing fingers. And he winds up, you like him better as you get to know him.
Yep.
The teacher, I loved her. Julia Garner is great in this movie. And she seems to really embrace the fact that this is not she's a good teacher. She's a nice lady, but she's very flawed. And very often you just want to smack her. And I love when people don't feel like the female lead has to be 100% likable and noble. I love that. I love when we get to have like a fully dimensional character. All the characters are great. All the performances are great. Benedict Wong, he's so good in this movie. He's so dear. And when it finally turns to violence, it starts with his character. And I think that makes more of an impression because he's like the one adult you've met that you kind of don't want to see anything bad happen to.
Right, and there's another great performance too. I don't know if we should mention because I don't know if this
Right.
actor is shown in the trailer. So
And I don't mention him in the review either for that same reason.
okay, so then we're not going to mention. But it's a great performance.
It's a great performance.
and it's an unexpected performance, and that character takes the movie in a different direction. But yeah, it's really well put together. It's the layered writing.
Yeah.
The acting is great. Yeah, I love the fact that you think your sympathy is going to be with the teacher. Everybody hates her, but yeah, she's got some issues.
Yeah.
And then you think the rage-filled Josh Brolin just
Yeah.
wants to beat somebody up.
Yeah.
No, but you come around to his sympathy a little bit too.
Yeah. And then I think one of the things that's sort of unsettling is that there is a bit of humor
There is.
throughout this movie.
There
and
is.
because of the subject matter, missing children, it's a little off-putting, but I think it works. It's not like over the top, like barbarian humor, but there is some humor in this, which I guess I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah, there definitely is, especially during a big action sequence.
Yeah.
And something just happens over and over again. They're like, oh, I was kind of laughing, but
Yeah.
it was a very serious moment.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Krager does a great job building the tension even before it gets horrific.
Mhm.
A true horror movie. Early on, some horror fans might be thinking, where's the horror?
Oh,
Well,
it's
it gets
coming.
there.
It's
It
coming,
gets there. Hang on. But before it does, it's tense. He builds the tension, builds the story, builds the character development. I'm with you, all of that. And you're just trying to figure it out. So
Yeah.
you're trying to figure, what could this mean? Where is this a metaphor for something? And I do think there's some social commentary here. I do, but it's not overt. I
No.
thought for a while it was going to be.
Yeah, I did too.
Because of the title,
Yeah.
weapons,
Yeah.
and you're using children,
Yeah.
But there is some message here, but it's not overt, and it's
No.
a little open-ended, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it the way that he left it open. There are a couple scenes. There's one line of dialogue specifically that Josh Brolin's character says that is really framed in a way that this is important, which he talks about not understanding. He's angry. Like one of the chief of police, played by Toby Huss, the Wiz,
Yeah, the Wiz.
from
Nobody
Seinfeld.
gets him.
So the Wiz says, what are you seeing that I'm not? And then it flashes to Brolin at a community meeting, saying, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so he's angry because he doesn't understand. And how much of our society does that, just lashes out. I don't understand something, so I'm going to lash out and try to blame somebody, even if I don't have all the facts. I think that was important, but it's not everything. It's not everything about the movie. It's just, it's a little bit, and leads you to think about certain pieces of social commentary, but doesn't hit you over the head, which is always better.
Yeah, no, I would say that it's light on the metaphor and social commentary. I think people who maybe worry that the guy who made Barbarian is doing elevated horror need not. It's a satisfying bloody climax, but it's not one of those movies where you're like, wow, yeah, that's really smart. You know what I mean? It just it builds to something, it releases.
Yeah.
You're happy to see it happen. It's a fun piece of horror.
And you're going to have questions.
Yeah.
You're going to have questions that are not answered, and that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a satisfying ending. Yes, it is, because man, you want it to happen. You do. But it's a great mystery. It's tense. It's well put together. I still, you're going to rank it. This has been a great year for horror already,
It has.
and we're just in August. A great year for horror. This and Sinners right up there. Right up there.
And Together.
Oh, Together. Yeah.
Sinners is a rarefied.
Sinners
is better than
still-
all of them. It definitely. It's still my favorite movie the entire year.
Yeah, I've seen a few people say this their favorite horror movie this year. Weapons. I can't go that far. Sinners is still up there, but this is really, really good.
I do want to call out Carrie Christopher.
Yes.
Who plays Alex?
The
right?
one child.
The one child who did not disappear.
He
And
is good and very
he's
sympathetic.
Oh my God, those eyelashes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this kid is so cute, and he does a really good job.
He does, and he's got some tough scenes.
He does.
He really does. He's got some tough scenes with some serious stuff going on around him.
Yeah.
And that's good. We've seen a couple. Just last week we talked about Anna Sophia Hager from She Rides Shotgun. These kids, what are finding these talented kids?
Amazing.
But yeah, Carrie Christopher, good call.
Yeah.
Very good. So Weapons out in the theaters now. A big recommendation. Yeah, just even if you think, where's the horror in this? What's happening? Hang on, because it's coming and it's satisfying. We like Weapons.
Next in theaters, 22 years after Tess and Anna endured an identity crisis, Anna now has a daughter and a soon-to-be stepdaughter. As they navigate the challenges that come with two families merging, Tess and Anna discover that lightning might strike twice. Freakier Friday.
Oh, the craziness, the hijinks. Finally get around, 22 years later to the sequel to Freaky Friday, which, of course, was an update of the 1976 original with Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris. But the 2003 version was pretty clever.
It was pretty
in
clever.
the way that it rebooted.
And it was mostly because of Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, I mean, I don't want to slight Lindsay Lohan, who was, on top of the world that year, but Jamie Lee Curtis really was a push over the cliff. She just dove right into being, a 16-year-old in an old person's at that point body, and she was so much fun, and that's really the reason to see it this time too.
Yeah, no surprise, she's the star again, and Lindsay Lohan too. I mean, they still have good chemistry, and they have a lot of fun commenting on their ages, how they've aged over the last 22 years, how the times have changed. Teenagers are different, they're different. All that is fun, and so there's going to be a lot of nostalgia for the people that saw it 22 years ago and grown up with these actors, and that's at the heart of it. But yeah, the story is similar but expanded to 4 people now, because Lindsay Lohan's Anna, she's now a parent herself. She's a single parent of a high school age daughter, and she is engaged to the dad of her high school age daughter's, I don't even say frenemy. They don't like each other.
No.
The dad and the daughter have come in from London recently, and the daughter is hoping to go back. But now that is thrown into, question mark, because her dad's getting married. Not only is he getting married, he's getting married to her enemy's mom. So bachelorette party, it's not a wild one because there's kids involved. They have some fun stuff going on at the bachelorette party. A psychic who has a lot of side businesses, played by Vanessa Bayer, who does a great job. Yeah, stealing some scenes. She's funny. And so, the psychic stuff goes awry, and they wake up, and all 4 have changed. So the teenagers are in the old bodies, and the older people are in the teenage bodies. So the teenagers suddenly discover, hey, we can break up this wedding. We're the adults now. We can throw wrenches in this until they don't get married at all. So that's the plan. And there's a lot of confusion and a lot of hijinks and a lot of riffing on how they don't want to be old. And yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis especially, but Lindsay Lohan too, has fun doing this. Now, this one is there's a new script writing and new directing team. It's directed by Nisha Ganatra.
Who did Late Night?
She did Late Night, which really liked a few years ago.
Yes.
Other than that, mostly her resumes in TV, as is the main writer, Jordan Weiss, mainly in TV. And a lot of this comes off as sort of a TV movie. There's a lot of antics. There's a lot of those things that often happen in road movies, where you just move it to one. Let's go play pickleball and get crazy. Let's go take some dance lessons and get crazy. So they just move the antics from place to place. Most of them don't really hit. There's one in a record store though, because who else is back in this movie? Well, it's Jake. It's Jake,
the boy she loves.
The boy she loved back in the day, but not the father of Lindsay Lohan's daughter. But he's got an LA record store now. So there's a fun kind of sight gag sequence where the 2 older people, now teenagers, go to that record store and try to flirt with him. And while Lindsay Lohan's flirting, Jamie Lee Curtis is in the back trying to hide behind album covers. And the ones she chooses are funny. It's a well executed sight gag. So that sequence works pretty well. And it's fun and it's funny. It's not great. I don't think it's better than the first one from 22 years ago. That one was more clever. This one is more contrived, leading to the finale, which is very contrived. Because if you remember Lindsay Lohan in the first one, she was heading toward pop stardom. Well, in this one, she's had her day as a pop star, and now she's a record company executive, grooming the career of a new pop star. Well, they give her a chance to be a pop star again without giving away too much at the end. Yeah, heavily contrived, but is it fun? Yes, it is. Is it great? No, it's not. It's not better than the first one. But Jamie Lee Curtis is a ball, and working with Lindsay Lohan, they seem to be having a lot of fun.
Do you know what would have been more fun? Is if they somehow got Jodie Foster in it.
Yes. Wouldn't that have been fun?
That would have been super
Yeah.
fun.
Just all the, hey, it can still happen. It can still happen out there, especially if this one was a hit. They'll be looking to do another one. But yeah, if you like the first one and have some warm nostalgic feelings, that's what this movie is going for, and it'll hit them. So there's some fun to be had for Freakier Friday. It's in theaters now.
Next up in theaters, when a young girl's sketchbook falls into a strange pond, her drawings come to life, chaotic, real, and on the loose. As the town descends into chaos, her family must reunite and stop the monsters they never meant to unleash in Sketch.
Boy, you remember how great of a voice actor Tony Hale was in Toy Story 4,
Yeah,
right?
Forky. Of course, he was also on Arrested Development.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't watch that as often as we should have.
No.
But here he gets a chance to shine, and he really does. And this movie, we ended up liking a lot better. I didn't even know anything about it, I'll be honest with you.
I knew that it was Angel releasing.
Okay.
And I'm not a fan as a rule.
That's not
you know,
often,
I
a little
think-
heavy.
Yeah.
little heavy-handed.
In fact, that Times of Freedom, I think, is an abomination.
Yeah.
I hate every single thing about it. So I was really not that much looking forward to seeing this movie, although to have Tony Hale in there, I'm like, plus the concept really spoke to me, as you know, George, because so this little girl, you know, people are concerned for her because her sketches are very dark. She draws these monsters, these horrible monsters, and kids are afraid of her, and she's getting in trouble at school. And when I was little, like, I wrote scary stories, and I got in trouble at school a lot, often for that same reason, and people were afraid of me. So, but her sketchbook falls into a lake, and they come to life. These sketches, these giant, fun, sparkly monsters named Dave, and things like that. And it's a fun movie. At the heart of it, Tony Hale's character is the dad of these two kids, and he's lost his wife, and so they're not really dealing with that. You know, and that's really what the movie is about. And that, in fact, this little girl who draws these scary things, she's the only person in the family who is dealing with her pain.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones are just ignoring it, and that's what's causing the problems. And so, even though that sounds a little bit heavy-handed, the way they do it is a little bit magical. Honestly, Tony Hale is great as the dad, and then Darcy Carden, who's a stand-up comic. She plays his sister. She's hilarious. The two of them are awesome. But then equally important, the three kids. So it is the little girl, and she's played by Bianca Bell, and her brother, and the kid on the school bus that she hates the most, that she always draws monsters eating. The three of them wind up together fighting these monsters, and they are a stitch. They say the funniest things.
More good kids.
I know, and
kid actors.
And there is something like genuinely juvenile, childlike, but also juvenile about the way they approach killing these monsters, about what the monsters look like. You know, it's just it's a very fun movie. I really enjoyed it. And
the writer-director Seth Worley.
Yep.
Don't know if he had done anything we've seen before.
No, we had not.
No.
He had not. No.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah, you come out of left field like this, especially from something. You know, we try not to make those prejudgments. We're like, oh, it's from Angel releasing. Like, you think what's maybe it's gonna be a little bit too heavy, but big surprise.
Yeah, because it's nice to see you can make a film that is
as a message,
inspirational,
right?
But it's not. It's still a movie first,
right?
Yeah,
right. As we say all the time, before people get out of whack, the reason so many of those films don't work is because they act like they have their audience already, so they don't have to
try very
better.
hard. Yeah.
You're taking your audience for granted,
Yeah.
so we don't have to try any better to tell stories any better than just beating people over the head. That's the problem, not the message
No.
at all. It's how it's told, like any story. But this one,
sometimes it's the message.
but this one, yeah, nice surprise, and obviously for the family.
Yeah.
Well done. And it's in the theaters now, and it's called Sketch.
Another creepy one in theaters. Detectives are thrust into a chilling hunt for Mr. Shiny, a sadistic serial killer from the past whose return marks the beginning of a new wave of grotesque, otherworldly crimes tied to a dark cosmic force. Strange Harvest.
This is the latest from writer-director Stuart Ortiz. And if you like true crime, this is going to be right up your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a true crime story.
It's not.
But it's structured to look like a true crime documentary. And really, I think it takes a lot of inspiration from that I'll Be Gone in the Dark
Yes.
that was on a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Probably more at this point. That we actually watched that one. That's one of the few we watched and liked. And that's why we were able to really see a lot of parallels between that and how this is structured.
I was disappointed in this movie, but I did have some pretty high expectations. First of all, I love that title. It's a creepy title that conjures all kinds of creepy possibilities. Also, the best thing about this movie, if you're a horror fan, are the actual crime scenes.
Yes.
They're actually way better than the trailer makes them out to be.
Yeah, they are.
Much more impressive.
They are. They're creepy.
They are.
They definitely are.
Yes, they are very, very
And
creepy.
that mask you saw in the poster there, the still frame, the mask is creepy.
Yeah.
There's some creepy stuff here.
Yeah, I think that the horror elements are great in this movie. I don't like the true crime documentary framing of it. I think that, for one thing, one of the things that made the one that we watched so effective is that it was more interested in telling you about the victims than in mythologizing the serial killer. And this movie does not take that tact at all. We know very little about any of the victims at all. And which is to say that it continues to mythologize a serial killer, which of course it does. It's a horror movie about a serial killer. But to me, that really limits the strength of this particular framing device. And then the other thing is the two detectives that they talk to the most. One is played by Terry Apple and the other is played by Peter Zizzo. Terry Apple does a pretty good job. Peter Zizzo is weak. He carries an awful lot of this movie, and he's the one who's really conflicted, and he feels like he really let people down, and you just think, I'm not buying this at all.
No, it seems like he's acting.
Yeah.
Instead of he's supposed to be. This is supposed to be like documentary footage. They're talking to a policeman.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's putting on a show. So that those falter a little bit. I just don't think there was enough. I was hoping for a better payoff.
Yes.
I think at the end. That's why I think if maybe you're a real true crime fan that's maybe used to those sorts of endings, it might it might go down a little bit better for you. But I was left wanting at the end.
Except that I really think we're not huge true crime fans,
No.
but I really think that the draw of true crime is the true part.
Yeah, but not always are those solved.
Right, but I mean, I don't think anybody wants to watch one that isn't true, that is not based in fact. I could be wrong about that, but I really think that's one of the big keys to it. And I think that if this is the movie you want, I'm going to recommend that you watch the Poughkeepsie Tapes, which is a really tough movie to watch, but it's this movie only done much better.
Yeah.
Everything about it is so unerringly authentic that it really leaves you shaken. It's a tough movie, but it's good if you like horror.
Yeah, but like you said, this one does have some creepy set pieces.
It really does.
You hope it's leading to somewhere more better, somewhere more satisfying at the end. So this did turn out to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
It's in theaters now, and it's called Strange Harvest.
Boy, speaking of disappointments.
Next in theaters, two musical legends gather at a Scottish cottage on the Mull of Kintyre for a tense summit to discuss a potential collaboration that will ultimately result in a global #1 smash hit single, Ebony and Ivory.
And you notice nowhere in any of that are the musicians' names, and the single is not named, but the movie is titled Ebony and Ivory, and you pretty much know who they're talking about.
Yes.
And this is the latest from writer-director Jim Hosking. And have you seen The Greasy Strangler? Have you seen An Evening with Beverly Luff Lynn? And you get an idea of what you're going to see, although we were hoping for much, much better. In fact, you outright hated this movie.
I was angry that I was still watching it. And I am a big Jim Hosking fan. I have he did one of the ABCs of Death. They used to have those anthologies, really short. And I remember loving it. And then, of course, we love The Greasy Strangler. And we love Beverly Luff Lynn probably better than we ought to.
Yeah.
But this movie is intolerable.
It really suffers from. I think the biggest problem here is Hosking boils it down to just two characters and one setting. You've got these two, and the white one is English, and he's into vegetarian ready meals. And
he has a mullet.
Yeah, the black one is blind. So you know who we're talking about here. And the whole thing is that Stevie comes over to the Mull of Kintyre to visit Paul, and they're maybe going to collaborate. And And that's about it. And they just have conversations that repeat dialogue over and over and over and over again. And then, of course, they get naked and, their merkins fly free in the breeze.
Not, of course, they get naked because they're Paul McCartney.
No.
No, but because it's a Jim Hosking movie. That's why, of course, they get naked.
Sorry.
That's why.
That's right.
We're not
That's right.
suggesting
The lawyers
anything.
for Paul and Stevie are going, hey, no, it's because Jim Hosking
really likes a merkin.
prefers that. But you're just waiting, like the Greasy Strangler especially and Beverly Loughlin had this universe of characters to pop in just ask about the potato chips or something, just do something crazy. You're hoping for Michael St. Michael's to pop in on lead guitar or something, but it just tries your patience because that's all it is. It's them in this cottage or outside in the water, just repeating this crazy dialogue to each other.
They could have used Tutti Frutti Disco Cutie.
Yeah.
Really
Janet, am I doing it right? See the Greasy Strangler.
See it.
This is really, really disappointed because when I saw the trailer, I think we both were really excited. The two stars are regulars for Jim Hosking, Sky Elabar, the son of the Greasy Strangler, and then Gil Jex, who's been in some of his as well, are the two leads. And that's it. But it just spins its wheels for an hour and a half and really tries your patience. And I liked it a little bit, like you said, you were just angry. Why? I'm going to turn this off. But we kept watching.
Why is it still on?
Yeah, and we wanted to like it so much better.
I did,
than we did. But still, give him a pat. We're gonna see the next thing he does.
Yes, for sure.
And if you haven't seen Greasy Strangler or Beverly Loughlin, please do.
Yeah.
But this one, that's a toughie. But it's in theaters now. It's called Ebony and Ivory, Imperfect Harmony.
Let's go to Amazon Prime. A routine cash pickup turns into a deadly pursuit when two mismatched armored truck drivers are ambushed by ruthless criminals with plans beyond the cash. The Pickup.
What's another turd?
Is Ebony and Ivory better than The Pickup? Man, at least in this one has more characters.
It's so hard to mess up a heist movie.
And Eddie Murphy. Can you make the goal? If the goal was to make Eddie Murphy unfunny, you have accomplished that goal. He seems barely interested. They give him a couple of chances to do some funny Eddie Murphy riffing, but it's not happening. No. It is not happening. This is so boring. Yeah, heist movies. We've said it many times. We love heist movies.
Yeah.
And this one is a heist movie. And it's Eddie and Pete Davidson.
I know.
Having a tough year. Pete Davidson, and they are working for this armored car company, and they're sort of hijacked by Keke Palmer, another great. Yeah.
I love Keke Palmer.
Yeah. And so things go awry, and who is working for whom, and who's double crossing, and Pete really wants to be. He's hoping he can do something good so he can become a cop one day. And is there some history between Keke Palmer's character and Pete's character? Maybe. What's going on? Is he the inside man? Do you care? You don't. You don't. It's so boring, and so it looks cheap. I don't know what the budget here was. Obviously, Eddie's not cheap, but I mean the production values, some of the cuts, some of the editing on the fights and the action. It's a streamer. It's on Amazon Prime, and it just seems like it was cranked out, almost like one of these Adam Sandler movies that we complain about, where it seems like 1-2 takes at the most, and let's go to the bar. It's really boring, and it's not fun or funny at all. Tim Story, it's his latest. I mean, he's done some good. So he did Barbershop back in the day. He's also done some really boring movies, and this is one of them. So cannot recommend on Prime. Even if you're looking for Eddie Murphy to be funny, he can't save it. And that is The Pickup.
Also on VOD, a pregnant woman inherits a house from her aunt and moves there with her girlfriend. Their unborn child becomes threatened by an old karmic debt linked to the town's dark past. Birthright.
Can I just tell you, that is such a theme this year. We're if we haven't mentioned before, we're judges. We're on the judging panel of the Nightmares Film Festival in Columbus, Ohio. It's awesome.
It's a great.
Come to it.
Yeah, it's the best film festival.
But when you judge these movies throughout the year, certain themes start cropping up. And I have watched so many movies this year where a family inherits an old house with secrets.
You know,
And some are not distributed yet, obviously, but here's one right here. It's these passed down of family trauma.
but it's been one of the most threadbare, overused tropes. I mean, since Uncle Giggles,
And the Flintstones.
I knew we'd like
Nice.
the Flintstones reference.
But it just seems like I've seen them 1, 2, 3 in a
Yeah.
row now.
Yeah.
And here's another one. I got off track. Birthright.
There were at least 6 of these released last year.
Yeah.
And the best of which is called, by the way, Mother May I, with Kyle Bollner. But it's every single thing about this is so incredibly. I've seen this before. Every single thing, and it's unfortunate because for one thing, it's got a pretty good cast, and it's very well shot. Yes, a couple moves into a house that the main character didn't realize was in her family. Her aunt died. Her parents have died, and her aunt died recently. And she didn't know she had an aunt. And here she's inherited this beautiful house way far away from the city. And they want to have a baby anyway. So why don't they just move here and it'll be peaceful? And then, of course, what they find out is, the aunt isn't who we thought she was.
What?
And there's creepy stuff afoot. And is there a curse? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's so
Been there, done that.
so much. It's really frustrating because again, it's got a solid cast and it's got a couple of character actors. Michael Chernus, if you don't know that name, you know him to see him. And then where is he?
Well,
Owen Campbell. Owen Campbell. He's a character actor. He's a young guy. Yeah. I love him in everything.
And then one of the actors, Ross Partridge,
oh, yeah.
he's been in a lot of movies as an actor.
Yeah.
Now he's a filmmaker too, and he's the director here.
Yeah.
So you probably recognize his face. It's a lot of faces that you'll probably recognize without knowing their names.
That they just don't do anything with. Yeah. And it does. I mean, it looks good. It's a well shot film. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those nothing new to see here.
Right. Movies. Yeah. Yeah. What was it about the script?
Yeah.
That said this needs to be filmed. This has something new to say.
Right. Remember Burnt Offerings?
Yes. Oliver Reed.
Betty Davis.
That
was one they did well because the house itself,
mm-hmm.
was. These can be done well. I mean, that's probably why they make 19 of them a year.
Plus, that had not only Oliver Reed but Karen Black.
Oh yeah.
So you knew it was
Betty Davis.
Well, Betty, yeah, but those two you knew it was going to get crazy. Betty
and
was pretty old at that time, but Karen Black and Oliver Reed. Look at Burnt Offering.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, from 76, 7, something like that. Late 70s. So it's good.
We're just going to tell you what movies to watch instead of the bad ones this week. That's what we're going to do.
Birthright. Not anything new to the party of creepy old houses that get handed down when you didn't even know you had an aunt. Does that ever happen? Your aunt you don't know gives you a house.
Yeah. You shouldn't take it. That is what movies have taught me.
That's true. That's Birthright. And that's on VOD.
Also on VOD, in France, Nejma trains hard to win the local bullfighting competition. When she is mauled after a celebration, she starts to notice disturbing changes. News of a rogue bull on the loose terrifies the community, killing young men. It's Animale.
Now see, that's a new idea because you're used to saying bitten by a wolf.
Yeah.
No. Not this time. No.
Yeah, it is. This movie has a lot going for it. It's one of those films that is so entrenched in a community, in a pastime, in a part of the world that you don't know anything about. So it's like hill country in France, and it's bullfighters, and I don't know anything about it, and it's so lived in, that I don't feel like, why aren't they explaining this to me? It's just, and the performances are very naturalistic and really, really good. And I think that it's a great way, the filmmaker's name is Emma Berenstain, and I think it's a great way that she anchors what is a supernatural film, because everything about it just feels so lived in and truthful, naturalistic. Sometimes it actually, I think the only real problem with this movie is that it invests maybe so much in the metaphor that the actual monster mythology is really kind of left hanging. And so when that happens, the climax of the film leaves you a little bit wanting, because you don't understand the monster aspect well enough to know what ought to be happening right now.
Okay.
But it's a pretty minor criticism. You should know, it's a great movie. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous movie. It's very interesting. The performances are great. There is and the comparison is sort of culturally approved of violence. And so there's animal cruelty in this, right? Because they're bullfighters, and there is parallel of cruelty to humans. So in that way, it's a tough watch. So know that going in, it's absolutely worth it. And once she makes her point, it's going to be impossible for you to unsee it. The root of some of the violence that is perpetrated and accepted, and where it comes from. But it is a hard movie to watch, but it's really well made.
Yeah, Emma Berenstain directed and co-wrote it too.
Yeah.
So good job on that one. That's Animale, and that was on VOD as well. So that one is a recommended watch this week for sure.
On the other hand,
Also on VOD, a missionary converting an indigenous community in a remote Ecuadorian volcano must come to terms with her own faith when her son is possessed by dark forces. It's Shaman.
Possessed by dark forces.
I don't like a lot of Catholic horror because it's so wildly off base in terms of like the foundation, right? I mean, I'm not saying don't make fun of Catholics, it's creepy. It's creepy.
Get it right.
Get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know what I mean, get it right. And so this is one. It's a Catholic.
And you have the bona fides.
Yeah.
Yes. I went through Catholic school. Parents worked for the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So she can call it out.
Yeah. And so it is about a family. I think they may be Canadian. They're either Canadian or from the States. They're not really entirely certain, but they're missionaries, and they work with a priest who is Ecuadorian, and they're in a very mountainous region of Ecuador, evangelizing, doing missionary work, and so it's a critique of that. Okay, super cool with that. And it's it's a story about their son who's adolescent-ish, like just about to be adolescent, that he's possessed by an ancient demon from the area. And I think that the filmmaker is Antonino Negret, and his brother Daniel writes it. And there are certain things that they do that I think they do quite well. But then there are other things that just leave you scratching your head about why the movie was even made. And a lot of it is that it's like the misrepresentation of the religion that they are criticizing. And I think that's what bugs me.
Oh, yeah.
Is that if you're going to criticize it, know what you're criticizing. It deserves criticism. It does. I'm not defending that. I'm just saying this doesn't even happen. So now it's just a faceless horror movie. So it takes a lot away from it. I don't think I think they pull some punches really in terms of, colonialism, that they could have landed harder. Certainly. I think the end is interesting. And then Sarah Canning plays the mother, right? And she does a really good job. She does such a good job that it's almost enough to overcome the problems with the film. But then there's bad effects, which just because it's also pretty beautiful to look at. It's pretty gorgeous location shooting. And then all of a sudden you get these bad demon effects, and you're like taken right back out of it. So nope.
Remember, you should have seen the reaction when we saw the one Annabelle movie, and in that movie they had a nun receive confession. She about leapt onto the screen to strangle someone. So that's just what we're dealing with here. So no, not a recommendation for Shaman, which is on VOD. That's 9 down. 9 down. Let's hit one more.
And a documentary with never-before-seen footage, exclusive voice messages, and accounts from Jeff Buckley's inner circle, painting a captivating portrait of the gifted musician who died tragically in 1997, having only released one album. It's never over, Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, Jeff Buckley and his tragic end to his career has become a real cult figure over the years because of his music, and then his cover of Hallelujah, of course, became so huge. And then the way he died, and the fact that he was the son of Tim Buckley, who also had a tragic ending, but didn't really know his father at all. So it's a sad story, and a very talented guy. And it's been done. His story has been told in narrative films and then in documentaries. And this is the latest. And this was reviewed for us by Rachel Willis at MaddWolf.com.
Yeah, and directed by Amy Berg, who has done a lot of great stuff. And I think that there's a lot going for this movie. One of the things that Rachel liked is that it includes a lot of actual Jeff Buckley talking, and that it doesn't just mythologize him. It looks at some of his sort of troubling behavior. And she also thought, though, sometimes it goes overboard with that. There's too much 20 years past speculation about what he might have been thinking, what might have been in his heart at the time. And she felt that was dishonest a little bit. And so, but the music, of course, is great, especially if you're a fan. So she kind of came down right in the middle. It's a nice movie if you like Jeff Buckley, but it's maybe not as powerful a documentary as you might.
Yeah, if you're just a casual fan. And this one is in select theaters, I believe.
It is, yeah.
Right now in select theaters. Probably won't be too long before it hits streaming. But check out Rachel's review at MaddWolf.com. And that is It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley. All right, 10 up, 10 down. And the Schlocketeer taking another week off. I'll tell you what, has he been putting in? Has he been putting in for this paid time off, unpaid time off?
That's right.
Okay, I guess you can have it.
But he says he'll be here next week, so we look forward to seeing him.
Wink, wink. No, we'll look forward to catching up with Daniel next week. In the meantime, speaking of next week, we've got Nobody 2. It's been a few years since Nobody was a really surprise hit, and everybody was like, Bob Odenkirk can kick ass.
That's right.
Apparently so. He's going to kick some more.
There's also a remake of Witchboard, and I shouldn't be as excited about that as I am.
One called Americana. You may have heard of Sydney Sweeney lately. That's her and Paul Walter Hauser and more next week.
Also, Went Up the Hill, which looks pretty spooky, and I'm excited about that one.
One called Jimmy and Stiggs.
Ooh, also spooky. One called The Descendant, also spooky. I sense a pattern.
Now I'm interested in this. The Knife. This is, I believe, the first directorial effort for Nnamdi Asomugha, former professional football player.
Okay.
Who has been, I think he may still be married to her name is escaping me right now, and I'm embarrassed to say that. She played Ray Charles' wife in Ray. Why am I forgetting her name?
Oh, Washington?
Yes, Terry Washington. I apologize. I think they were married. They may still be married. So he's been drifting into the film game for a while now, and he's directing this. So I'm interested. The Knife is next week.
And then Boys Go to Jupiter.
Sudan, Remember Me.
East of Wall.
Yep, saw that one just a few days ago. And one called No Tears in Hell. Sounds spooky. So a good number next week. Can we go over 10? I don't know. That's a lot. It's a lot to ask. But in the meantime, what do you think about weapons? A lot to talk about there. What do you think about Freakier Friday or Sketchers, Strange Harvest, or Ebony and Ivory? Talk about all those and more. We're always up for it. Always good to keep this conversation going. You can find us MaddWolf.com is the main website. MaddWolf Columbus on Facebook, on Instagram, on Threads, on Blue Sky, on YouTube. That's a lot. It's a lot of ways to catch up with us, but we hope you will. And keep checking out the movies. We'll talk about them. In the meantime, be well. Enjoy the rest of these last few weeks of summer. And until next week, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Screening Room Podcast.
See ya.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.